What's up guys, and welcome back to another video. We are talking of France. They are under investigation over COVID blunder. Certain players, including the coach, were out of their bubble, which then got them to contract COVID-19, affecting 17 members of the French rugby squad, which means that the France versus Scotland game had to be postponed. A very, very important game, one that could have given France a further lead in the Six Nations, or one where Scotland could have beaten France and we could have seen Wales probably get closer and closer to the Six Nations title. It's a game that many will debate on. One was saying, oh, but France didn't have enough players. How is it fair for France to play against Scotland? Others were obviously saying, now Scotland have to wait and possibly play with the weaker team because of provincial rules of not being able to have their star players like Stuart Hogg, Finn Russell, and our Scotland are also angry about that. And also, they were irresponsible to go out of their bubble. I know it's for family reasons, and I know all these things. It is a hard situation to be in, but you've committed to your job, you've committed to the sport, you've committed to your team. By going out of the bubble, you're standing a risk at affecting someone with the virus, therefore could lead to someone getting it worse and possibly, hopefully not, but could pass away, or could spread amongst more and more players and affect another team, and then the whole tournament is under threat. Now, France's participation in Six Nations hangs in the balance apparently, as France's rugby president Bernard Laporte has been ordered to submit a report into the COVID outbreak to the French government. The sports minister Roxane has demanded an official internal investigation after 11 players and the coach tested positive for the global virus. The outbreak led to the postponement of the match against Scotland last week. Now obviously we know that at the start of the tournament it was the French government that had the strict protocols, that the competition at one stage lied in the balance of the French government because we weren't sure whether or not they were going to allow France to play, as they had put a few holds on certain events because of COVID-19, but then later announced through Bernard Laporte that France could go ahead and play in the Six Nations. But now France got affected. Apparently the coach was out at his son's sporting game or something like that, and through that contracted the virus, which affected other people. And it was again in Rome or something, or just before they played Italy when this happened. So this isn't very good. It says the Daily Mail report that the French government have threatened to remove their team from the remainder of the Six Nations if they are not satisfied by the French rugby union's explanation. Media reports of an alleged outing in Rome has been pinpointed as one possible source, said the furious sports minister. I don't think it was written in the protocols that the players could go out to eat waffles. If they went out to eat waffles, they had to be retested when they re-entered the bubble. We want to know if this had been done. President Bernard Laporte told us that everything was going to go well and that the bubble was to be strictly respected, with controlled entries and exits. Now that we can see this is not the case, and he says I'm waiting for him to come and explain to us what happened. So as I say, the shit is hit the fan over in French rugby campaign. What's going to happen to pull out France right now when they stand a chance at winning the Six Nations after 11 years? Will the French government really risk that opportunity? Well, they're strict. They know the rules. These guys knew the rules when they went on to this. I mean, it's going to be a sad occurrence because France have been playing phenomenal rugby right now and potentially could win the Six Nations. It's going to come down to the big game against Wales. And I mean, France are scheduled to play England next in 2 weeks' time. And what an encounter that's going to be. I mean, it's March 13th when they play England at Twickenham. Probably going to be one of the big tests for France to see whether or not they can gel with the pressure. So far, it's been good. But now you're playing a wounded and angry English side, which could mean anything. So do you kick out France, or do you allow them to play? Well, we're going to have to wait until these things happen. But it says, revealed, the Daily Mail also has revealed that the Six Nations will come under pressure to award Scotland the victory after Gregor Townsend's side remained adamant that they will not agree to a new date that forces them to play with the weaker team. I can fully understand this and respect this comment, because why play when your team's weakened? If France didn't obey the rules and couldn't play with the second graded team, then why must Scotland be forced to play with the second graded team when they did nothing wrong? These are the things we have to start looking at and debating, because everyone was quite harsh on Scotland when France were going to go ahead and play. But what we didn't realise is that these guys could have broken protocol. And if you break protocol when there's a rule, I mean, why are we blaming Scotland? We should be going at France. Tough luck. You guys lost out. I mean, France were winning. France has an opportunity to win the title. And now they're going to do that, which is a little bit foolish when there's a global virus going around. And that all teams have rules and regulations on what they need to do. And if it wasn't followed, well, Bernard Laporte should also be in just as much trouble. Because there was even talk early in the week that Coach Fabian should be possibly fired because of his situation. Now, I hope that doesn't happen, because I think he's a great coach and he's a future and potential future for France rugby. But still, it's these types of things, breaking rules that were laid out by your government. I mean, I know if you break rules for COVID protocols in South Africa, you can face jail time. You can face a massive fine. What makes an international star different to a normal human being living a normal life? We could debate this all day, but France are currently being investigated, and we'll have to see what happens and what Bernard Laporte can present to the French Sporting Board to see if he can get away with this, or if France get pulled out of the 2021 Six Nations, pretty much handing it over to Wales. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. That's going to do it for today's video. Be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys real soon for another one. Stay safe and never give up. Cheers.